Okay, overall, I thought it was a good first day. Really, our focus was on our older guys in the first part of practice, and really what I was looking for is just effort, attitude, body language, just flying around. And I thought for the most part, our veteran guys did that. The second part of practice really was so we could focus on our young guys and really slow down a little bit. There's quite a few of those guys that we're going to need to help us on Saturdays, and so it gave us a chance from a coaching staff to really slow down and work with those guys. And I thought for the most part they had a solid day too. So overall, like I said, it was a good day just from the standpoint of attitude, effort, body language, and the little things that really make a difference. On a couple side notes, obviously you saw Jason Smith has moved to safety. That's a move that he's really been really wanting to do even during the summer, and it gives us depth at the safety position. He's a guy that will understand offenses, and I really think he can come in there and do a solid job and help us in that area. Jalen McGriff was also a receiver that moved to safety. That was his first day out there. Carlito Gonzalez did not make it. He's in the process of looking for a junior college, right now. Mike Shorewood is looking to graduate and try to play his fifth year somewhere else. I don't know exactly where that's at yet. Mike's has done a super job for us. He was an energy guy, and we wish him nothing but the best. Tucker Brown is moving to full-time tight end. He did play tight end in the Sugar Bowl against Oklahoma. Just another bigger body right there to help us in some areas using the tight end. So that's really the personnel adjustments that we had. Questions?
There's no lingering effect with Calvin Ashley and the procedure on his arm?
No, not at all. He had like I said, he had a minor procedure, and then he was out there full speed and ready to go. It wasn't anything major.
Jason, athletically, that kind of fits back there. Did he come to you guys, and then what was the kind of the process to get him to the
Yeah. He talked to some of our defensive coaches, during the summer, and he was actually doing some defensive drills that I heard, with Trey Matthews and all that. And just, that's an area at safety that we could use a little more depth. He's a veteran guy, and like I said, he understands offenses, and he's old enough and mature enough that I think can come in there and really help that group. And of course, we're also expecting big things out of him on special teams, as far as that goes. So, I think he's excited about it. I think our defensive coaches are excited about it, and I think the defensive players are the same way.
Did he get a chance to move over earlier this summer, or just
no? We just made the move in first day of fall camp.
It's obviously very fresh, guys, but you've seen Trevon Reed make that move before. Does Jason have? Do you think he has the skill set in order to not just play the position?
He definitely has a skill set. There's no doubt about that, and that is somebody that we actually talked about when we were talking through the situation. And like I said, very similar. Trevon played receiver and played it well, and Jason's done the same thing and moved over his senior year and did a good job. So I think there's some definitely similarities, and of course Trevon's still playing.
Offense, obviously pads on. What were you hoping to see out of those guys today, and kind of what you see out of them?
Yeah, of course, the first day of fall camp, the install's really, it's small, and just from a coach's standpoint, it's more about, and specifically from my standpoint, about attitude, effort, how coachable, the details, hustling on and off the field, all that, and I felt good overall. Now, up front, I know Coach Hand, we got some good competition. He was mixing and matching up front. I know Chip rotated the quarterbacks. I know our running backs, our two older guys, rotated with the orange receivers. There's some great competition going on there. So, this first probably 2 weeks, offense is going to be some great competition, and then really feel like things will start to settle in after that 2-week mark. And so that's kind of the plan. And but overall, like I said, there's a bunch of guys out there that are in the mix for playing time.
Do you remember a group that has maybe as many bodies from a first and second team heading into a preseason? I mean, there's a ton of guys that are in the mix for first and second.
Yeah, not recently. I wouldn't say. I would say that you know, we kind of talked about the depth. You know, I think the depth and really quality depth has got a chance to be one of our strengths. It's just a matter of, you know, who the starters are going to be, because I'm real big, and I know Chip's real big about getting guys and getting the continuity and everything that goes with that. So, you know, hopefully we can have that lined out, you know, after 2 weeks.
Yes, Trey Williams was one of your early big-time recruits, I guess. Just talk about his time here, what he brought off and on the field.
Yeah, well, Trey's one of our team leaders. He's a guy that earned that. He's been so consistent since he's been here, just from a character standpoint, from a work ethic standpoint. He's battled some injuries, but when he's been healthy, he's played at a very high level in special teams when he was young. And then, of course, last year, linebacker, he really raised that level. And he's like a coach on the field. He's another coach on the field, and you know, he's one of our team leaders. And I'm proud to call him a team leader, and he's earned that since he's been here.
As far as Carlito goes, I mean, you don't lose recruits very often, signees, I should say. They almost always qualify for you. Is that disappointing in a way to have a guy that you sign and not come through?
Well, I mean, you know, like I said, he's in the process of looking for a junior college, and you know, go to a junior college and try to get here.
Coach, I know it's early in the quarterback competition, but what are the determining factors? What will be the determining factors that you move forward on choosing a starter?
Yeah, well, I think the simplest answer for that is who gives you the best chance of winning. I mean, I think that's really the simplest. Now, there's a lot of things that go with that. I know Chip rotated them by series today. He'll continue to do that. And then, you know, the first 2 days are very basic. Then you start getting into day 3 and 4. You start going third down, some red zone, some real specific, and try to put them in as many situations as you can. And, of course, scrimmages are big too, you know, and I've said that before. So, you know, Chip's got a good plan. Both the guys are competing at a high level. Malik really worked more with the younger guys just so Chip could spend more quality time with him. I thought he did some good things. It's a good competition, and there's nothing better than competition. It just brings out the best in everybody, so that's a really good thing right now, I think.
On the defensive line, where you lost your 2 best players, can a guy like Dontavius Russell, one, help out the production there, but maybe be a leader of some sort on the defensive line? Who are you looking at?
Yeah, I mean, Dontavius Russell is a leader, and you know, he's so consistent. I mean, he's just that consistent guy that he does all the technical things right, and when he doesn't make plays, he usually helps other people make plays. You know, whether it's keep a lineman off a linebacker or keep his rush lane to allow somebody else. So, you know, I really think it starts with him. And, of course, you know, we've got pretty good depth, you know, and so I'm excited about fall camp to really see how everything lines out, you know, with the older guys and the young guys.
What's your plan with the offensive line? How much do you cross-train the first week or 2, and when do you want to kind of have a plan in place for that 2 deep?
Well, I mean, I think, like I said earlier, I think the 2-week mark would be best case scenario. You know, Coach Hand's got that plan, you know, that's been thought out, and I feel very good about it. I know Chip does too, about putting guys in some different positions. And it's just a matter of, you know, what 5 guys gives us the best chance of being successful in putting those guys together and working that continuity, because there's nothing better than knowing exactly the communication with the guy beside you. So, but I will say this, I mean, there's some good competition up front there too. And, you know, I think back at recent years, I don't think that's been the case at this point. And so I think that's a good thing. So it kind of goes back to the quarterback. I mean, we got some great competition there. It does nothing but bring out the best in those guys.
Yes, can you talk about the Sal Cannella and having him split out wide a little bit today, and having 2 tight ends with him and Jalen on the field?
Yeah, you know, when we recruited Sal, we knew he was versatile. You know, in high school and even junior college, they put him split out, and of course you saw him in the spring game. You know, he did pretty good, but he also is really learning to play with his hand down and being able to do some things. And then he's also done some things at H-back. So he's a real versatile player that I think you could see, you know, Chip move around this year.
To go back to the offensive line for a moment, at center in particular, when you bring in Casey, who's an All-American at that level, what are you looking for from him, especially after you get to the 5th practice, you're getting pads? What are you hoping to see from him, maybe against the first unit? How much of a luxury is that compared to past years where your backup center was the bit of an issue in the prior season?
Well, I think you just said it. I think it is a luxury that you've got a guy that has played at a high level, and, you know, and started, and I think I've said this before, but when Casey played against the two SEC teams, you know, us and LSU, he played very well. So it's just a matter of Coach Han evaluating him here and how he compares. And, of course, Austin is one of our team leaders, and Austin's got great experience. And there's nothing better than having experience, you know, at your center, especially with what we do. So, you know, you got two good ones. And then we got some young guys that are competing too. So just far as depth at the center position, I will say this, in 8 years I've been here, we got the most depth at the center position. And, you know, you always, you know, probably my biggest fear besides the quarterbacks all getting hurt is your center, snapping the football and the timing and everything that goes with that. So that is a blessing to have that many guys that can snap a ball
So
effectively.
is it safe to say you won't make the quarterbacks live this fall?
I think that's safe to say.
Do you expect something extra? Go ahead, Karen.
No, I was just gonna say, how do you go about, you know, reading into that when they're in a scrimmage situation?
Yeah,
the bull-
well,
Yeah.
you know, as a coach, you know, you put them in as many situations you can. Even though it's not live, you can really evaluate. And the more team reps, 11 on 11, that's really when you can really tell. So we'll be able to properly evaluate them without being live, I feel like.
You said that a few years back, Gus, with Nick in 13, and then that first scrimmage, you did go live and made the determination after doing so.
Yeah.
There's no way, you don't think it would reverse course?
No, things are completely different now. There's a lot more information. I feel like we have, specifically with our two older guys. You know, of not just, you know, going through spring, but even when they played games. You know, that was a little bit different deal, you know, coming in. And you're exactly right. You know, we tried to go non-live, and after 2 weeks, we put the ball down, and after one series, everybody on the team knew who our starting quarterback was. But it's completely different now because we got more information than we had then.
When we're talking about the fifth-year guys, or the graduate transfers you have, the center and the guy from Florida State, do you expect more from a guy like that? I mean, they're not just transfers. These are guys that played a long, long time.
Yeah, well, I think that the experience factor, and, you know, they've done it at a high level other places. So to answer your question, expectation, yeah, I think there is some expectation from a coach's standpoint, but at the same time, they've got to earn it. And there's good competition, and we've got some young guys that, you know, didn't play a lot last year that have really raised their level too. And so right now, it's real refreshing and comforting to me to have quality depth on the offensive line. And like I've said numerous times, you know, how you win in this league is up front, offense and defensive line. At least that's how we win at Auburn. So there's good competition.
With Braden moving to tackle, you have both of your guard spots. You have to have two new starters there. What have you seen from those guys early on?
Yeah, well, first of all, you know, moving, you know, Braden to tackle, you know, we're definitely solid with that. Of course, he's, you know, was a great guard too. But, you know, we're going to see quite a bit more odd front, we feel like, this year. And, of course, running the ball effectively versus odd front, your tackles have to win. And so that had something to do with it. And at the same time, we felt like we had some good options at guard. And we think we got some good, you know, competition right now. So, like I said, there's 3 or 4 of those guys that are in the mix that'll have a chance to compete, you know, for those guard positions.
How comparable are the two quarterbacks, how comparable are their skill sets? Because it's obviously not Nate Marshall, Jerry Johnson, level of difference at least.
You know, there is some similarities. I mean, they're different. There's no doubt. But, you know, they're both tough guys. They're both competitors. But there's a little bit of difference. But it's not probably extreme like you're saying with, you know, Nick and, you know, anybody else.
Anything else? John, you want to ask your question? It's your birthday.
What'd you get me?
How old are you?
Doesn't matter, he didn't get you.
All right, thanks, guys.